Inside Apple's factory in China. Apple is one of the world's biggest tech giants, and the company is understandably pretty secretive about their production process and new products that are being developed. In this video, we'll show you some clips from Apple's factory in China to see how their products are made. It's no secret that iPhones are hugely popular, and there's an incredible demand for Apple's products around the world. But as this huge demand for iPhones has been growing and growing globally, it's raised some interesting concerns about how this very expensive and valuable technology is being produced, and how the factory workers are being treated. Since the software giant Apple is usually private about what goes on in their factories, it's exciting to get a rare look into one of their Chinese factories. These huge factory complexes are usually sealed off and secretive, and people who don't work there usually don't get to see inside the factory gates. Foxconn is one of the major Chinese companies that manufacture Apple products, and this huge factory complex makes more than half the world's iPhones. The company employs up to 350,000 workers and has basically turned into a little city on its own, and those living there often refer to it as iPhone City. The factory workers live in dorms in tall buildings just outside the gates of the factory, so they can make it to work easily. The dormitories were specifically built to house the thousands of workers at the factory, and each room houses around 8 people in bunk beds. Foxconn first started producing phones for Apple back in 2007, and is the largest employer in mainland China. While Apple's designs are developed and perfected in Silicon Valley, the actual assembly of the phones takes place in China in order to cut costs. Apple's factories are generally pretty fast-paced, with lots of employees working hard to deliver products that are in demand all over the world. Chinese factories are known for requiring hard work and long hours, and the pay is not very good. The working conditions are also generally criticized by employees at these huge factories. For the workers at the factory, the work is usually focused on doing one task repeatedly as part of the assembly line. For example, wiping a polish on the screen, fastening a chipboard, soldering a component, or fitting a screw into the phone. This kind of dull, repetitive work can drive you crazy when you do it all day long, every day. Most of the workers on the assembly line will perform one simple task over and over again for between 8 to 12 hours per day. Many people heard about Foxconn after several suicides took place at this infamous factory a few years ago. Driven to desperation by the challenging work, long hours, and low pay, many employees resorted to extreme measures. Dozens of workers attempted suicide by jumping off the tall factory buildings, and many died. In fact, the factory had to put up nets around their buildings to catch the falling bodies of workers who attempted suicide. A lot of employees complained of long workdays, mean managers, and a very stressful, high-pressure work environment. Since then, both Foxconn and Apple claim to have taken steps to ensure working conditions are more fair within the factory walls.